Now, welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes. And there will be no Kenobi spoilers in this video, though I will have a review over on my other channel, and we will be doing our Let's Talk Some Kenobi video, which is a response to comments on that video, probably tomorrow.
Most likely tomorrow.
Alright, so let's get right to the news.
Mandalorian cast call Season 3 dark and tumultuous. And
Tumultuous.
Pedro Pascal says it's better than Season 2.
Okay.
So, since Celebration, more of the actors have been speaking about what we can expect from the new season. Katie Stackhoff simply said it was going to be dark. Carl Weathers called it fuller, with a lot more heft. That it's so dense, with so much action, but also character.
Alright.
Emily Swallow called the tone tumultuous. Giancarlo Esposito said the scope of the episodes will only get bigger after Season 2. His quote is, "It is larger than every..." And it's just an expansion, in many ways, of last season. It's a season that has great ideas, great teasings, and great tips for the future. Pedro Pascal said, 3 is even better than the previous one. It's safe to say that you're going to love it. The actors are playing it, of course, very safe and spoiler-free.
Yep. Holding to those NDAs, those badass NDAs, as Katie Sackhoff has said before.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you gotta keep it safe.
Yes.
Keep it secret. Keep it safe. Yeah, I know you were gonna say it.
I was gonna say it. I was.
Esposito does remind us where his character is. Yes, it's assumed he is behind bars. I think we could have an opportunity to see him escape those chains that bind him.
Surprise. Moff Gideon on the loose again.
We want to see a guy who is a mastermind, who has an idea for the future that no one else has. And so we want to know what that is, and we want to know if it's good or bad. I keep holding on to this idea that he really wants to save this galaxy. Of course, everyone does. But everyone assumes he just wants to control it. So let's find out if that's true or not.
So is he not in on the whole bring Palpatine back plan? Is this not First Order?
I don't know.
If you read Aftermath, like, the First Order kind of there's no mention of Gideon, no mention of Thrawn, there's no mention of a lot of things that we're seeing in the show. So is the First Order, and I know there's going to be people like, well, let's not connect it to the sequels. I get that argument. Trust me, I do. But is that whole thing going on independent of what we're seeing in The Mandalorian? And is that a smart thing to do? To just kind of say, this is going to be a different thing Imperial Remnants do compared to what the First Order is?
Well, it very well could be, and it makes a lot of sense. You fractured the Imperials, it's going to be a power grab. One group is we're following Palpatine's orders, we're going on, and they make the First Order, and they're following that direction. But it makes sense that there'd be another group, another maybe area of the galaxy, who go, this is what we're doing. Yeah, we're going to take control this way.
That is kind of shown and implied that there were, different Imperial remnants that were doing different things. So I'm just curious, because I think it was Giancarlo Esposito even said at one point that this is going to show the origins of the First Order or something like that. So I wonder if that's kind of been taken off the table, if that's been a change of heart, just a change of ideas.
Well, and it could be that he thinks he's leading the First Order.
It could be, yeah. I'm sure they didn't lay out everything in exact detail for him. They're never going to do, especially Dave Filoni is never going to let anybody in on what the plan is.
Well, there's clearly the First Order, and then there was the Final Order, which the First Order didn't really know about. So it's already implying that there's a separate group in a sense.
It's very tricky to try to make sense of all this and to figure it all out. But I'm also assuming a lot more Mandalorian in this. Again, tooting my own horn a little bit, I predicted even before Season 1 that this would get bigger, and in a few seasons it would be, in scope and scale would increase. We'd be seeing a lot more Mandalorian culture. It would be just a bigger story in general, and that appears to be what is happening.
Okay, so Pascal goes on to talk about the changing relationship between Din and Grogu. What I love is the idea of who's protecting who, because Grogu is discovering more and more of his powers, and it's very important for Mando to nurture it, and to also make sure it's harnessed in the right way.
Okay, so he's going to Jedi the guy who didn't know what a Jedi was a couple of years ago?
He's not going to teach him or train him, he's just trying to train him to what ways to use your powers.
I know, but I don't know. I'm still on I think it would have been cool to see a season without Grogu and Mando and to have
Grogu hater.
And Luke. I'm not a Grogu. If you would have told me before I saw that first episode of The Mandalorian what you're going to do, that you're going to have a Baby Yoda, I probably would have scoffed and been skeptical. But I've enjoyed Grogu. I really have.
Fallen for his charms.
No, I think he's a great idea. I really do. But I think I don't know how much you keep doing with the man. Speaking of little creatures.
A kitten has arrived.
But anyway, I just don't know where you keep going with the story. I'm curious to see, and I'm not saying I doubt that they have a plan or that it'll be good. I'm just really... All right, well, thank you for...
Zoomies.
Yes, but thank you for that.
She said you're welcome.
Anyway, before we were so rudely interrupted, I don't even remember what I was saying, but I'm sure it was rambly, so maybe it's best that I get cut off there. Maybe she was trying to save me from...
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Emily Swallow, who plays the armorer, has this to say. We have seen her guide Mando, but also he has surprised her, and she's rolled with that, and she's been open to seeing where he leads her. Mando has brought these surprises her way, and she's open to. And so I think we'll continue to see, as he makes discoveries on his journey, that she's open to seeing what she learns from that. She is supposed to play a much larger part in this season or something. I'm curious if we'll see an interaction between her and Bo-Katan.
That's what I was just going to say. I want to see that interaction. I want to see those two, like, you know, what does that conversation
Oh my gosh.
look like? Yeah. Because clearly, totally different mindsets.
Very different.
Yeah, one is very old school, traditional, don't take off your helmet, it's bad. And the other one is
Bad.
the new leader. So, I mean, I don't even know what to expect, to even anticipate out of something like that, but I want to see it.
All right, Katie Stackhoff, talking on Bo-Katan, said, "She's not done. Bo-Katan refusing the Darksaber makes us question. It makes her question. What's different? Why not now? And and that's important. She's still on that journey, you know, from the first time we met her, when she was very young and impressionable, and she's been continuing to evolve and grow and figure out who she is."
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that say she's very inconsistent, that she was, a pretty cutthroat member of Death Watch and then has a change of heart. But as I've said, I think that the death of her sister is that turning point in her life. I don't have too much of a problem or think of her as inconsistent. I think that was, she kind of understood what her sister was standing for, that, her sister was obviously pacifist, anti-war. She sees the result of war, leads to the death of her sister. So I like the progression they've done with her. I know a lot of people don't or disagree with it, but I'm very curious to see what they are planning to do with this character.
Lastly, it seems Boba Fett will be involved in Season 3 in some way. Tamora Morrison teased a return of the old Boba Fett we know and love. We've got to bring him back somewhere. We've got to see the old Boba Fett. We reintroduced him, we found out some stuff, but I think it's time to get him back to his badass ways. No two ways around that. So I think we sort of have that scope to go back there, but that's out of my control. I'll just see what happens.
Yeah, this is something I've kind of wanted to talk about in an exclusive video, but around the other channel. I worded that poorly, but you know what I mean, that I would probably devote. No, that's not what I mean at all. It's just something that I think is a very interesting quote. And, I mean, I just think it shows that he is not a huge fan of what the Book of Boba Fett turned out to be. I think he had a very different image of what Boba Fett should be, and I think fans did too, and I hope we do see the Boba Fett a lot of us expected to see in that series.
All right, let's move on to the next article. Tamora Morrison wishes he did some things a little bit different in the Book of Boba Fett.
Okay.
All right. Tamora reflected back on the Book of Boba Fett a few months after the finale and spoke a little to Screen Rant about it. Said, feeling the love from all the fans, feeling that we've done something good, and the reaction I've been getting from fans is overwhelming. Didn't say which way. I'm very proud and just grateful for the wonderful opportunity to play Boba Fett in the Book of Boba Fett and work with Ming-Na. We had wonderful chemistry. It was so easy to work with her. She's been my confidant, and really it was a duo effort. He then adds that there are some things he may have wanted to do a bit different. So now that I'm looking back at it, I don't know. It's just one of those things. Things are great when you look back, but there are some things I may have done a little bit different. But again, just for me to work with John and be part of the Mandalorian family has been quite phenomenal, really. I don't think he's really criticizing the show so much. He's talking about, I think, more of himself personally as an actor. Reflecting on his performances, it sounds more like.
I don't know. I think it's a little bit of both. I think whenever you're kind of saying you're disappointed with your performance implies you're probably disappointed with the show, too. I don't know if that means necessarily he's disappointed with the direction of it or how it all played out, but I don't know. I don't know how much, he knows and cares and loves the character of Boba Fett beyond
I think
his...
he really does.
I think he does too. I mean,
Just
you saw
hearing
him
him
at
talk at Celebration, yeah. He loves his character.
So I think he knows full well that a lot of fans, sure. I mean, obviously, any decent, normal Star Wars fan, if they met Tamora Morrison, would, gush and be like, oh, it's an honor to meet you. You're the great Boba Fett and all. They're going to say positive things to him, right? They're not going to be like, well, I hated your series. So, but... So, of course, he's getting positive feedback, as he should.
Well, and he might be reading the internet and all the reviews as well. We don't know what he's seeing.
That's where I was going. Like, yeah, I'm sure he gets tons of positive feedback for playing the character. But if he is in any way plugged in, he knows there were a lot of people disappointed with the series. So I think it's a little bit of both here. I think he thinks he could have done a little better, and he thinks the show could have been a little better.
All right, let's move on. Obi-Wan Wednesday, week number 3. All right, another week of Obi-Wan Wednesday. This week from Funko, we're getting Tala Durith in her Imperial uniform. Ooh. All right. So
you seem really excited about that one.
I'm sorry. I don't buy a lot of pops.
No.
But it just looks so plain Jane to me, this one. I like the ones that have the motion look involved and just a little more special.
Oh, yeah.
From Hasbro Retro Collection, they're getting 5 additional figures. Obi-Wan Kenobi, Wandering Jedi. Doesn't seem to come with anything special. Just there's Obi-Wan.
He's wandering. He doesn't have anything.
5th brother, Grand Inquisitor. So you can round out your Inquisitor line. Seeing as we know we already got Reva. We're getting Ned B, the loader droid, and Darth Vader. And like I said, after hearing about the Reva, I was curious if we were going to get some additional figures for this line, and it seems like absolutely we are.
Yeah, I kind of like this line. I wish they didn't have the big retro sticker on it. I think I'd be more interested if they were just kind of normal-looking card backs. I mean, I guess I understand that they're trying to make a big distinguish, between the old school, like someone is going to get confused and buy the wrong thing or get scammed. But I don't know. I would love this line more if it was just really true to the old school card backs.
Pre-orders open Thursday, June 9th at 12 p.m. Central Time on these figures. LEGO is giving us a new set, the Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Darth Vader playset. It's priced at $49.99 for
Steep.
408 pieces, but the price really comes because it comes with 4 minifigs. It comes with Obi-Wan, Darth Vader, Ned B, and Tala Durith again. To be honest, I feel like the set's a little lackluster for me. It's very gray.
It's either, there's that. It's either lackluster or overpriced. It needs to either have more for that price
They price now, I think, a lot of based on minifigs because they know those are highly collectible. People will just collect minifigs.
Well, sure.
And this one has a bunch of new ones. I mean, Ned B is brand new.
Here's my problem with that. Like, the minifigs don't cost any more to produce in a factory than any other piece of Lego.
No, but
right?
they
So
hold the collectible factor.
Sure, but you have collectors and you're charging them a pretty big premium just because you made this minifig. I don't know. Seems kind of sketchy. Supply
and demand, I guess. Like I said, the minifigs look great. The set looks kind of visually boring to me.
Yeah.
This pre-order is actually available right now. If you wanted to go to LEGO and pre-order yours, you can. Time for our update on the HasLab Reva lightsaber project. It's inching along. 33 days to go, and it is at 1,010 backers.
Not looking too good.
I'm fine with that. It doesn't need to be made. They couldn't make me a Rancor. They don't need this.
If I don't get my Rancor, you don't deserve your Reva lightsaber.
Yes.
This would be a second straight failure, though, for Hasbro HasLab.
And it's because of their choices, though.
Yeah, I'm curious what this will mean for the future of Star Wars HasLab. I mean, failure after failure, because it does cost them money to do the prototypes and put in all the effort here. So.
Well, if they're smart enough to read between the lines and figure out why these projects are failing and get back to the ones that succeed.
You would think so, and yet...
The price is too high for this lightsaber.
Well, that's one
Step
of them.
one.
It's not a... It's a brand new character.
It's much higher than any of these sabers that I've looked at in their line. Much higher.
Yeah, I just... As we've talked about before, I think they're just kind of missing the mark of what these should be. These should be things that otherwise would never be... things fans have wanted for a while that would otherwise never be made. And I don't get... That's not what I look at when I see this. Or what I see when I look at this.
All right, let's move on then to the last piece of news today. Just a friendly reminder, the Black Adam trailer has been released unto the wild. The movie's coming out October 21st of this year. Visually, I think the trailer looked awesome. Looks like they got the Black Adam backstory correct to me.
I haven't even seen it yet.
I have. Honestly, most of my knowledge from Black Adam comes from the Shazam books. I do hope they keep him more on the villain side, because I would absolutely love to see him in a movie with Shazam. Dr. Fate looked awesome, as did Hawkman and Dr. Adam, so I'm very excited for that.
You didn't mention Miss Marvel today, too.
That's because we're going to be doing a review on her later.
Yeah, we could have mentioned that.
Well, I didn't.
Anticipation, builds excitement for them.
We haven't even watched it yet.
Maybe builds excitement for us.
I'm just going to go watch it without you.
All right. Well, that's all we got for you this time. So take to the comments below. Tell us what you think of today's news. And so let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.